in Connecticut as well. Everything's port, so these guys make huge money if you think about it. Port Authority, that's who's protecting our oil assets in Alaska. The Port Group, Valdez Port Company, the port directors I think it's Massachusetts actually, is where Tony Guerrero does legal work for that group. I think there's just so many scams. It's so easy to embezzle when you're dealing with big port type stuff in towns that have this huge amount of money when it comes to oil and port and trade. Then I get thrown into the system, into the legal system, using a divorce. The best tool in the world to distract from embezzlement and criminal behavior is try to destroy this person in a divorce. And the first card they played was trying to say that I'm mentally ill. It's kind of funny because I'm running the most technical guide service in the world, taking people out every single day at the same time that they're claiming I'm crazy. I have infiltration in my company of employees that they put in my company that are trying to sabotage my company. I'm so anal and so on top of what I do in the mountains is I caught one of the employees putting a plow on a fuel truck, 1,000-pound plow on a 550 truck, fuel truck, with zip ties. We found clips missing on our rotors of our helicopters. These guys are amazing. They're skilled. So then I get into the court system. I find that the court system in Illinois was corrupt. They literally served me with a 2-year restraining order on my children after my wife perpetrated a fabricated restraining order, claiming that I was in a hotel in Chicago after they booked a hotel room using a credit card that my employee Carissa Friend Basic and my wife got behind my back without my knowledge, and booked a hotel room in Chicago, called the police in Chicago and said I'm armed and dangerous in Chicago.
And quick point on that, I mean, we have let the lawyers know that the deposition that they've taken said that, that occurred on 8/8/2017, and yet the purported charges didn't occur until a week later. So, and that was the whole basis of the definition. Oh, I was scared, so therefore, I saw some. Why were you scared? Well, I saw some charges on the account. Oh, okay, you saw some charges, but so it doesn't even make sense. The charges didn't occur until a week later than what the actual complaint was filed. So just to clarify that point.
Yeah, and why are you scared? There's no history of anything in our family. We actually had an amazing life other than this bipolar embezzlement woman that I was married to that was basically loyal to a bunch of mafia, very wealthy families that know how to perpetrate on others and make their wealth.
And that was David Henderson, your lawyer, one of like 7 or 8 or 9 lawyers that you were spun through that we notified.
Hold on, let's back up to Illinois.
Okay, sorry.
So the judge in Illinois absolutely did not have enough information to go on to serve me a restraining order. I then was advised by every attorney, my sister's husband, Jim Whitley, my sister even, my attorney I hired, his name was Andrew Lambert. He's advising me the best thing to do is win jurisdiction in the state of Alaska. I've got David Henderson, Kara Nyquist, and Andrew Lambert all advising me that the best thing I can do is win jurisdiction in Alaska. Probably the worst thing I ever did, not knowing that Walker was corrupt and handpicked my judge. I win jurisdiction. She adopts the restraining order into Alaska, but legally she couldn't. So she didn't have a restraining order on me for 12 months. My attorneys and the judge in the court hid this fact from me, basically hurting my children and I, so I couldn't be a father to my kids, hurting my rights as a father and hurting my rights for my children to have a father. They hid this fact from me for 6 months. Then I find out that my Judge Henderson, David Henderson, Judge Henderson, her husband is the deputy district attorney.
Attorney General.
Attorney General. So I'm trying to reach out to Linda Lamuth, the district attorney, and he's blocking my ability. No emails would make it through. He wouldn't forward my calls. The secretaries wouldn't forward my calls. I went there physically, and they literally shut and locked the door on me once. This other time I went there, a woman met me halfway up as I was going there, and she says, "Hi, I'm with the Attorney General. Do you need some help?" Well, this is a building with about 50 to 75 businesses in it. How are they identifying me halfway up on the wrong floor and cutting me off before I get to the Attorney General? I tell her what I need. I'm trying to meet with the Attorney General. I've got corruption with the PD. I've got corruption with attorneys. I possibly have corruption with a judge. And they would not let me meet with her. They told me that their office could not help me with my situation. It also turns out the Alaska Investigations Group, who was started by Robert Remy. Remy Enterprises is the company he runs now, is next door in the same building as our Alaska Attorney General. These guys are known security firm, PI firm, that are not operating at the legal level. They're setting up families, they're setting up corporations for these attorneys to make huge money, to even do it for a price, to take over someone's business, their job, or assets.
Was that the same guy that broke into your house after being hired, or was that someone else?
Yeah, so exactly. So I get advised by Jeff Perouse, my business attorney, who we've now found was working for Alan Matkins in San Francisco, and helped with one of the rotor strikes, or one of the insurance embezzlements with one of our helicopters and a rotor strike helicopter. And then he started working for VLP Law. He advises me to hire Alaska Investigations Group. I go to the door at just about 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning. I knock on the door, and someone yells through the door, "We're not open yet." Well, when should I come back? In about an hour. I come back in an hour. I knock on the door. "We're not open yet." "When are you going to be open?" In about an hour. I come back at 11:30, and I go into this room. It's an office space, very large. It's a corner office of this building. And there's like 12 big office rooms in there and a huge conference room. There's a woman behind the front desk that obviously didn't know there was no computer, there was no message book, there was really no active material showing that someone actually ran the front desk. And around the office, every desk in every room seemed to be like there was nothing really there. There was one gentleman who was basically, very curious and alert to me and focusing 100% on me as I'm talking to this woman. And we've now found that he's from the UPS. He's a pilot for UPS, and is from Palmer, Alaska, and he keeps a plane in Palmer at Fly Alaska. He's just creeping on me. I'm asking them what they can do for me. I'm letting them know what my issues are, and they tell me that the guy that they're going to recommend to me won't be there till 2 o'clock.